Welcome back to the 90 Podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be talking about VAR and why I think it is surplus requirements. It is actually making football and the Premier League worse as a product as compared to the initial thought behind it, that it would make the Premier League better, that it would make football much better as a product. So what we saw yesterday is again something that we have seen all over the Premier League ever since the VAR was actually introduced. Liverpool were absolutely robbed. Liverpool were absolutely robbed by Tottenham, by the referee and by VAR. And today the refereeing body, which is PGMOL, have released a statement confirming that Liverpool have actually received an official apology from the refereeing body because they were cheated, because VAR did not actually look into the problem. They didn't look into the offside of Luis Diaz and the red cards as well. So we're going to be diving into VAR, the role, the disaster, and why I think ever since VAR was introduced to the Premier League, the product is going down first and foremost, but then also I don't see the importance of VAR. I don't see what VAR has done better. They've got a few decisions right and they've got many wrong. So that means that on a scale of 10, they're getting 2 right or 3 right and 7 wrong. I don't think that is something that rectifies. That is something that makes worse. And the role of VAR was to correct the mistakes of the referee. It was to reduce the human errors that were being committed by referees because they had that split second or 1 second to make a decision. I don't think VAR are correcting. VAR are actually making worse. So when you look at your screen right now, you're looking at the scenario where Luis Diaz is actually deemed to be offside by the VAR, and the decision by VAR, also the decision by the referee, is that the player is offside. Now I will give it to the lineup, I'll give it to the linesman, I'll give it to the referee. You don't have a lot of time on the pitch to actually review where the player is standing, and therefore because the lines are blurred, it's easy to go he's offside, right? And for me, I don't have a problem with a referee on field giving that as not a goal, right? Because all of us would definitely go, well, he was onside, but the referee didn't see that. He was onside, but the linesman didn't see that. It was a human error, and therefore it's alright. But what I'm not okay with is the people on VAR, Darren England, clearly having time, clearly having seconds, right? Minutes on his clock to actually get this decision right, and they absolutely get it wrong. So this is the statement that was released by PGMOL today. They have actually acknowledged that Liverpool have received an apology because the VAR in this game, who was Darren England, had thought that the referee on the pitch had actually given the goal. So he thought the goal was given, and therefore by looking at his VAR lines, by drawing his VAR lines, whether he drew them or not, he actually thought that the goal was right. So there was a miscommunication between Darren England and the referee on the pitch. It's unacceptable. It's purely incompetence, it is negligence, it is unacceptable, and therefore it renders VAR useless, and it renders all these communication gadgets and techniques and technology absolutely useless. If I'm checking club and I've lost the game 2-1 and I had a correct goal disallowed, and in the end, after the game, the refereeing body sends me an apology to tell me that, hey, the goal was actually should have been allowed. It doesn't make sense. And for me, there are 3 things here to talk about. 1, how is Darren England thinking in his head that the goal has been allowed, and therefore he just goes, the decision is okay? What decision is okay? What decision is clear to go through? Why didn't we saw VAR checking the goal on the screen? Why don't we see VAR verdict offside, VAR verdict onside? It's as simple as that. If he gives this verdict and the verdict is actually displayed on the screen, the goal is given, right? I think there is something very fishy about VAR. There is something very not right about VAR. It's either the real reason VAR is here is to increase jeopardy and increase chaos and increase all this kind of drama, probably add drama to the Premier League, add drama to football, which I think it really doesn't need to be there, right? Because for me, that goal doesn't stand if there is no VAR, and it should stand with VAR. So either way, we've got the drama. So that is number 1. How is Darren England not communicating with the on-field referee? How does he not know the decision that has been given? That's also a big question. How does he not know the decision that has been given? Because he says, I thought the goal was given. And still, before that, yes, he thought the goal was given and it was disallowed, right? So he just goes, yes, you're clear to go on. He says that the match has not started in the middle. The match has started with a free kick. There is something something fishy. There is something absolutely fishy because these guys are monitoring the game. First, he thinks that the goal has been given. That's alright. Second, he draws the lines and he sees that the goal is alright. Luis Diaz is alright. So when it's given as a free kick, why doesn't he communicate to the referee and go, hey, I think you've just given a free kick, but I saw the goal as clear. I had thought that you had given the goal, right? It is fishy. There is something wrong with VAR. Absolutely. Especially in this game. And we've got to agree, there is to some degree that there is corruption in the game. There is absolute corruption in the game. If I'm a Liverpool fan, you cannot explain to me that a VAR speaks to the referee directly and both of them give a very contradicting decision. The referee gives a free kick, the VAR gives a goal. How come? The communication lines, are they broken? There is nothing to suggest, according to their communication, PGMOL, there is nothing to suggest that the communication lines were broken. There is nothing to suggest that the communication technology was actually useless. They were communicating well. So where does the miscommunication come in? Where do we get the contrasting decisions from the referee and from VAR? I just don't understand that. I purely do not. But for me, guys, to be honest, if you're talking about VAR in general, if you're talking about the video assistant referee and the technology in general, the technology doesn't have a problem. It's about the people that use it. Earlier at the beginning of this campaign, the Premier League had a chance to go semi-automated with offsides. They had a chance. That is what the Champions League are doing. That is what we saw in the World Cup in Qatar. Semi-automated offside. And I think in the Champions League, it works well. In the Champions League, it is absolutely very, very fantastic. The semi-automated technology will literally draw a line and between the two players. The moment both players are behind the line, it's onside. The moment the striker is in front of the line, it's absolutely offside. I think the Premier League should resort to, if they don't want to do away with the technology, which I actually think they will, I'm going to talk about that, but if they don't want to do away with the technology, how about we go semi-automated, right? They can leave VAR for this kind of, maybe elbow incidents. They can leave VAR to red card incidences. They can leave VAR to things like that. Has the ball gone over the line? Right? Maybe. But when it comes to offsides, because this is one of the most deciding moments in games, offside, onside. Every single game will have that call. Every single game will have, is he onside? Is he offside? And most cases, when we have turned to VAR to actually look at a decision, they have got it wrong. I don't see why then VAR stays in place. I don't see why VAR then remains as the king. They have absolute power over these decisions and they're absolutely getting them wrong. They are butchering the decisions and we trust them. Every single day, we're like, okay, we've conceded, but let's wait for VAR. Last campaign, Arsenal could have been Premier League champions if VAR had done their jobs right. So there was an offside when Arsenal played Brentford in the 1-1 draw, and Brentford scored a goal courtesy of an opportunity from an offside that was not called. And there was an apology from VAR. And I'm asking myself, how does that really benefit Arsenal? How does the apology benefit Liverpool? How does the apology benefit Man United, Manchester City, Wolverhampton Wanderers? How do I benefit from the apology? It doesn't make the game better. It doesn't make my team, better. Liverpool right now should have a point. Liverpool right now could have had 3 points in that game. It could have been a very totally different game. For me, VAR changed that game, and Jurgen Klopp is absolutely right to be fuming. Now, the core reason why I think VAR is surplus to requirements is easy. The jeopardy it brings to football already exists, and I think the only thing we get from VAR is jeopardy. It is uncertainty, it is tension, and it is tense moments. We already have that. So I'll give an example. Arsenal played Man United at the Emirates Stadium this campaign, and in the dying minutes of the game, Alejandro Garnacho is through on goal. It looks onside, but it is offside. He's through on goal and he scores it. In the Arsenal fans' perspective, it is offside. In the Manchester United's perspective, it is onside. That is enough drama. That is enough jeopardy for the game. Let it end 2-1. Man United win the game, but we will never disagree. We will never agree. We will never absolutely agree. Arsenal fans will go home saying we were robbed, right? And Man United fans will be going home saying, yep, we won the game. So for me, VAR is just to the dissatisfaction of the fans. It just robs us of moments. It just robs us of clear jeopardy. It just robs us of the beauty and the fun of football. If it was here to rob those moments and give us a clear improvement in the game, no problems, no issues. I don't have a problem with VAR stealing 1 or 2 moments as long as we can all agree that the decisions they are making are right. But the decisions they are making are wrong. They have robbed the celebratory moments. They've robbed the victorious moments of the game. When you score, you've got to pause 3 seconds to look at the referee, 2 seconds to look at the liner, and another 1 minute to look at the VAR screen. I don't think football is entertaining anymore. I don't think football is as enjoyable as it was anymore. We are always on tenterhooks. We are always waiting to see what the machine says, and the machine is literally taking over football. So in my opinion, the VAR rule, it can't go away. I don't think it's gonna go away, but let's go semi-automated, right? Because we have seen that the human errors are literally killing VAR. If you're telling me that there was a human error on the field and a human error in VAR, then why do we have VAR, right? Someone just tell us that, well, maybe the lines were not drawn because the technology was down. You could understand that, but the technology was not down, but there was a clear negligence of duty from the guy in the VAR room, and sacking them and asking them to release their communications later on after the game to understand how they came to the decision. That doesn't work, really. That doesn't work, because these guys are always going, they know they can walk away with it. They know they can actually run away with it. So for me, guys, VAR, whether you're Liverpool or not, it's a disgrace. It's a shambles. It is an absolute joke.